Today's pick is a big one, Macbeth, the blood-soaked crown jewel from the goat himself. Unlike my previous choices, this one does not need an introduction. It's already haunting the classrooms and the syllabi. So I have gone down the Shakespeare rabbit hole before, exploring all of his wild identity conspiracy theories in a separate video on my YouTube channel. You will find that linked in my bio. Since most of you are already aware of the witches, daggers and the downfall part, I'll be cutting deeper into the eerie context, the whispers behind the play and the bits often left in the dark. Think of this as a Macbeth deep dive for those who have already read the play, and also my sneaky way of getting some extra views while the syllabus season is still on. Before writing Macbeth, Shakespeare mined Holinshed Chronicles, blending Donwell's bloody guest murder of King Duff with the tale of 11th century Macbeth. Holinshed echoing Hector Booth's added witches, Lady Macbeth and Banquo, ancestor of the Stuarts. To flatter James I, Banquo was cleansed, mixed with Buchanan's history, the gunpowder plot, witch pamphlets, and demonology. The play rose from smoke and blood. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's madness wasn't metaphor but Galenic humor theory in action. Scholars like Burton tied Black Bile to phantasms. Shakespeare's 1606 tragedy channels this pathology as Macbeth's dagger of the mind, a haunting hallucination born of melancholy imagination. See, Macbeth is not just a tale of daggers and witches, it's politics disguised as tragedy. Born in the early 1600s after the 1603 union of the crowns, Shakespeare wrote texts for King James I, who dreamed for uniting England and Scotland. So was Macbeth a barbarous Scot as in Edward I, or a tragic hero in a dialogic struggle? The duplicity and ambition mirrored English fears, right as the new April 1606 flag stitched St. George to St. Andrew. What if the witches did not just tell Macbeth his fate, but spoke it into being, as David L. Kranz argues their poetic compulsion to repetition, and the chiasmus fair is foul and foul is fair act as a chilling subconscious infection. Their words become his, showing how their dark influence takes roots. In Macbeth, the heath and castles Inverness, Forest, Dunsinane forms a spatial palimpsest layered with blood and memory. Inverness or Duncan Falls stains every latter space and Dunsinane itself becomes a grave. Here each location refigures the last, showing how Macbeth's abuse of power turns architecture into haunted monuments of corruption. The Macbeth curse lingers through history. Forman's eerie 1610 Globe account, Davenant's 1660 haunted revival, and India's daring reimaginings. Karan's Yakshagana Varnam Vana and a Punjabi folk version echoing with spectral song. Also, Verdi's 1847 Italian opera and Collingwood's 1927 English version show how Macbeth kept haunting the opera stage for centuries. I am Udhiraj, your literary sidekick, and my Macbeth's Hamartia reminds us all that unchecked ambition is the dagger that cuts both ways.